We're just gonna try to do like a quick, 6-10 minutes of interview stuff.
Fine. Why don't we just start with the history of Circle Dust?
So what are we doing?
Trying to gather whatever Circle of Dust stuff I still have left, and I have a stack of stuff in here, if I remember correctly. Yep, there it is.
What are those?
Not sure. It's been a while since I looked through it. I know I had a bigger stack, but that's all I have left. But I do have some other stuff in the garage. Well, I think I have a bin of merch, shirts and stuff, somewhere in here. Speaking of a little nostalgia, that's the cover to my my rig that I had that I lent to Clank for a tour, and he promptly stuck a whole bunch of stickers on there. I still have it.
What year is that?
This would have been 92 or 93. I'm horrible with memory, but it's somewhere around there.
What kind of shirts are those?
Poorly printed ones. I mean, this box probably represents several years of disappointment.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it for here. I have more stuff, one last batch in the studio. I have a mop. Oh yeah, here we go. Again, I don't totally know, but there should be backing tapes from the first tour. And I know I have some bootlegs of the actual live show. The last time I was kind of forced to go through this stuff was probably about 15 years ago when I moved from New York to Michigan, and I had to move, so I had to actually go through all my stuff. And I had way more of this stuff. But I think in my mind at the time, I was so over Circle of Dust, and I was looking at piles of press and interviews and everything else that I had. I did the only thing that made sense to me at the time, and I took it into the backyard and I burned it in a trash can.
You were over Circle of Dust?
I was over Circle of Dust.
Style-wise, I guess the music has been branded industrial. It fits into what people are categorizing as industrial, although it really isn't industrial.
These musical genres just colliding, but meshing and working together.
Super tight East Coast production, really aggressive, gritty, raw sensibility, combining and blurring the line between synth and rock. Look deep into your eyes, behold the burning flame.
Heavy guitars, that whole distorted vocal thing, but not constantly distorted.
It was so heavy, and it had such a, so rich and full and deep. So much struggle and strife and pain, and it was relatable, and it was artistic and creative.
But it is a hybrid of dance, keyboard oriented type stuff. I guess because you can say my roots were metal. I grew up a metalhead and progressed into the electronic spectrum.
I just remember being so blown away by what was coming out of the speakers because it felt scary.
Once I got a hold of Circle of Dust, it was just like, holy crap, we can do that?
Circle of Dust's story is pretty much one of everything that possibly can go wrong, does go wrong, and then the house underneath it springs a leak and everything floods down the side.
That signal means to stop whatever you are doing and get to the nearest safe place fast. Always remember, the flash of an atomic bomb can come at any time.
Hey, it's Klayton, and I want to thank you personally for watching the first few minutes of the Circle of Dust Full Circle documentary. There's been a lot of time put into this, and I'm pretty excited to finally be able to reveal this and let you guys get a peek behind the curtain of what actually happened with Circle of Dust in so many different facets. Now, I never thought I'd see the day where I'd be standing here saying this to you guys because for many reasons, but the main one being I didn't own those albums. I had no control over them. There was really no motivation for me to ever speak of them again. And that all changed in 2015 when I got the rights back to my masters, my original albums, which many of you know have been all remastered, re-released, tons of bonus content, etc. So then the idea of doing this documentary came up and started collecting all kinds of things, and it just grew bigger and bigger. And myself and the team at FiXT have gone through great lengths to start assembling people back in that time, namely guys like Doug Mann and Kurt Bachman, who were responsible for me signing to Rex Records, to the core of the live show, which is Jason Tilton and Darren Clank-Dialosa. And then we've heard from even people on the other side of that camera right there, fans who were on the outside looking in at the whole experience. There's over 30 people interviewed. There's over 4 hours of content across the documentary and bonus features, including 90 minutes of VHS footage that I personally sifted. And yes, it was painful hearing myself sing out of tune and remembering all of those bad shows just to find good moments that you could take in. That includes the very first Circle of Dust show ever, all the way through 1995 when we played our last shows somewhere in that year. So it covers the whole span there. There's an Argyle Park mini documentary, as well as a whole gear and production documentary that I kind of go through some of the gear and the technology that I had at the time, which was very limited, kind of show you how some of it worked. And for the geeks out there, you'll probably appreciate it. This stuff is available now. I'll tell you about that in a second. But you know, I got a chance also for the diehards and new fans alike to resurrect stuff like this. Went through great lengths to try to resurrect old merchandise, restore it, remix it, and we're releasing new shirts, stickers, and everything else, some with these old designs. There's a really cool new hoodie and a bunch of other stuff. Now, what you really want to know is when can you get it and how? And the answer is right now, and you just go to fixstore.com/Circle of Dust, place your order, and wait outside for the mailman for as long as it takes. Thank you guys for all the support, all the years of support, for all of you who have been there through thick and thin, and I hope you guys enjoy the doc. It was pretty painful to put together for me because it brought back a lot of wonderful memories, but it's cool, and I hope you guys enjoy and appreciate everything that's in there, and maybe get to finally peek behind the curtain and see and hear things you never had a chance to before. It's Klayton signing off. In my mind at the time, I was so over Circle of Dust, and I was looking at piles of press and interviews and everything else that I had. I did the only thing that made sense to me at the time, and I took it into the backyard and I burned it in a trash can.
You were over Circle of Dust?
I was over Circle of Dust. The worst show was easy. It'd probably be this one that I can remember. And there were a lot of bad shows. So it's weird for me to think that I had this dream of Circle of Dust and had the chance to do it, and then I end it. And then all this time later, I come back to it, and the whole story comes full circle.